Australia's economy is expected to defy dire forecasts about stalling global growth and soaring inflation, but mortgage owners are in for much more pain. Let's go to Trudy McIntosh in Canberra. Trudy, good morning. What do these OECD figures tell us?
Pete, Australia faring okay by comparison, particularly to Europe, but the OECD has painted a pretty dire and bleak economic picture for the globe, with the Ukraine invasion by Russia continuing to weigh on the global economy, and the prediction is it's going to get worse next year. Here at home, though, while Australia's growth forecast for next year has been downgraded, you can see when we bring you these numbers that it does show you that Australia is still faring okay by comparison. 2% growth predicted for the Australian economy next year, down by 0.5%. But look at Germany. The OECD believes that will now contract and go into recession. It's a 3% downgrade from what they had been thinking in just December last year. The United Kingdom on the verge of recession, 0% growth, down by 2.1%. In the United States, anemic growth at best there, 0.5%, and a big downgrade. As for global growth, 2.2%, but still it's down from where the OECD had thought it would be. As for the politics here, the Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor today will deliver an economic address. He says that Treasurer Jim Chalmers is talking down the Australian economy and being too grim about Australia's outlook, but the global picture could certainly weigh on Australia's economy. Here's the OECD Secretary-General and former Australia Finance Minister, Matthias Cormann.
The world continues to pay a high price for Russia's war of aggression. The global economy is slowing down, inflation is broadening, and households and firms continue to bear the brunt of high energy and food prices.
Yeah, interesting too. The OECD forecasting that the RBA is going to have to lift interest rates to 3.6% by next year. That is going to sting those mortgage owners. Meanwhile, Trudy, on the federal ICAC, we have more details about what it will eventually look like.
Pete, it's starting to take shape here. The Attorney-General, Mark Dreyfus, revealing that the National Integrity Commission will be, in some instances, able to look at third parties, so not just looking at corruption by federal politicians. Mark Dreyfus also revealing that the Integrity Commission, if it wants to, can look into cases of pork barrelling, where money is provided to electorates and grants on the basis of political considerations, not necessarily on need. And also, we are expecting that the ICAC will be allowed to hold public hearings if it deems them within the public interest. This legislation will go to the Labor Party room meeting this morning before we do see the full details publicly. But really interesting on the politics of this. A lot of focus on the crossbench, but what about the opposition? Peter Dutton revealing the coalition could back Labor's model.
Well, I think they're fairly pragmatic in their approach, and we're working constructively with the government. They'll have a bill shortly, and I suspect we'll be in a position to support that.
Now, that would be a big development if the coalition does get on board with Labor's model. A concession, Pete, in the wake of the election defeat, that Labor does have a mandate on this ICAC.
Very good point. Trudy McIntosh, thank you.